Alright, boys, this video is going to be titled Why Meditation Can Change Your Life and How It Changed Mine. Without further ado, let's just get straight in. So, the person you see before you right now is a product that's being honed. That's how I like to think of it. I'm always making progress on myself, but back in the day when I was in school, I'm 21 now, but when I was in school, like secondary school mainly, so from ages 12 to 16 for you Americans, whatever it is, 11 to 6, whatever the fuck it is. The equivalent of you guys is high school, let's say that. So back then, I used to have serious anger problems. Like, picture the kid in your class who would like throw chairs at a teacher or like just yell fuck you at a teacher for giving the most simple of instructions. Now, I wasn't quite on that level. I wasn't super unreasonable, right? But I was like getting there. An example I can give you is like, oh, one time during an English lesson, we must have had like a substitute teacher. This teacher was a prick. She was a complete dickhead, and she hated me and my friend. My friend used to always excel in her classes, but never listened to her, so she hated him. So, and then she also, by extension, hated me because I was badly behaved and also friends with the thorn in her side of her class. But anyway, she was covering our English lesson, and I remember I had finished the work that was set by the teacher, like I believe it was like 10 minutes before the lesson was finished. So I had like nothing else to do. Technically, I could have found something else to do, but back then, childish. I must have been like 15. I was like, oh, I finished my work, miss. Da, 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 da. And then she's like, oh, just sit there and wait. Or she said, find something to do. And I said, oh, no, I finished the work. And she's like, okay, well, just sit there. And I was like, all right, cool. So I was like being a fucking retard, had a glue stick over my head, and I was just like fucking dangling it from like above my head like this, like just fucking bored as fuck, like some weird ass kid. And she gave me a detention for that. And the school system that we were in, that would have been like a warning. They were called demerits. That would have been classed as a warning, but she just gave me a straight up detention. And that fucking pissed me off. Like I was like about to just start like flipping out in the classroom, and I was like, nah, fuck this. And I just got up, walked out of the classroom, and then like the day was already going shit for me. I'll be honest with you. I'd been having a horrible day. I can't remember exactly what had happened up until this classroom. It was the last period. Up until this class, because it was the last period, and the rage just built up in me, and like I felt the need to hit something. Like in my head, I was just like, fuck, like. So I felt the need to hit something, and as I'm like storming out of the classroom, pissed at this teacher, I walk up like through the corridor, and then I just like smash the side of my fist like this into one of the walls in the corridor. And at the time, like, I didn't feel any pain because I was just so filled with rage. Like, I was actually vexed, like, truly vexed. And come to find out, when I got home later on, I was trying to fucking play fucking games on my PC. I had created, like, some form of dent in my middle knuckle right here. I don't know if the camera will be able to pick up the dent, but there is now what I assume a permanent dent in my fucking in my knuckle. My right one doesn't have it. It's been like that for what, 6 years now. So I assume it's gonna be permanent or it's gonna take long to heal. But yeah, that's the level of anger issues that I had, and that's not like a one-off incident. Shit like that would happen maybe once every fortnight, once every 2 weeks, and it kind of built me a weird reputation where I had like conversations at parties after school, like after school had finished, with like some people, and a girl actually told me that she and some of her friends used to actively try and avoid me or avoid pissing me off, because they saw how I used to act. So it was actually quite bad. Now, I say all of this to explain that those anger problems didn't do anything for me in my life. Um, these extended feelings of rage, anger, they kind of seeped into my late teenage years, where I was just in such a destructive mindset mentally. Um, I was angry at the world because I was learning stuff about the world, about how like the majority of the people own like a very small minority of people own the majority of wealth. How they do basically nothing to solve the true global issues, stuff like that. And there were also other destructive mindsets like I had genuine anger towards people that I saw as like incompetent. Um, and yeah, it just wasn't a healthy mindset to be in. I was rarely ever happy unless I was like with my friends. And I was back in the day also, I was also like highly sedated all the time because I used to smoke weed literally every day. Like I'd smoke like 2 zoots a day, 2 spliffs, 2 joints, whatever the fuck you want to call it for you Americans and you mainland Europeans. But yeah, around the age of, I believe, 17, from what I remember. It will probably be like, yeah, 17. Around the age of 17, my older god brother, so he's like older than me by a few years. Um, Obviously, he'd been maturing faster because he's older, etc., etc. And he'd been learning things himself. So he planted like seeds in my mind. I would like hear him talk about shit like this, and then or hear him watching it on the TV when I would like be at his house. Um, and like in my brain it didn't register for like a year or so, because I was just too engulfed and distracted by all the other things that were in my life, like dealing with girls, um, playing games, shit like that. Um, so like at one point when I was 17, I was just like, man, I can't keep living like this. It's not sustainable. I'm just angry all the fucking time. Um, when I'm not high, and um, something has to change. So I started doing research on a lot of different stuff. The three main things were Taoism, which is Taoism philosophy, whatever the fuck. It's classed as a religion, but I class it more as a philosophy. Stoicism, which is obviously philosophy, and Buddhism, which is a religion. And this is how the third obviously is how I got into meditation. Through Buddhism, I thought I saw meditation and I was like, oh, this shit that the monks do. That's what everyone back in the day. Remember, meditation at this time was not popular at all. Like no one did this shit. So I was like, oh, this shit that the monks do. Fucking hell. Alright, cool. Let me just try it. Because as a person, I just like trying new things. So I was like, cool. Let me try it. I tried it for like a couple days. Yeah, something like 2 or 3 days. I meditated like once after like waking up, and I'd be lying to you if I told you that there was an immediate effect, because there wasn't. There really wasn't. Um, the truth be told, I thought meditation was just a bunch of bollocks, bunch of bullshit. Like when I first did it for the first 3 days, and I was like, alright, cool, fuck it. Let's just research these philosophies, blah blah blah. Oh, I stopped meditating. I just like paid it no mind, and I kept researching deeper into like Stoicism, Taoism, and Buddhism, and eventually at some point I was like, cool. I mean, the the thing that made me enter into trying to meditate was I saw that Marcus Aurelius, one of the main Stoic writers, had a his book is called The Meditation. So I was like, huh, that must be some sort of sign from the universe. So I was like, alright, cool, fuck it. From the universe or God. My views on God are quite confusing, but yeah, it's a sign from the universe. So I was like, all right, cool. Let me try this shit again. So I tried meditating for this time. I was like truly, truly consistent with it. So I heard around this time I was like sorting my mindset out as well. It takes 21 days to build a habit and 90 days to build a lifestyle, that sort of shit. So I was like, cool. I'm gonna try this for more than 21 days. I'm gonna do it for a month, 30 days, and if nothing changes, then this is truly bullshit. So I was like, all right, cool. So I meditated for a month. Fast forward now, and it wasn't at the point of a month that I realized the effect. And I'm not gonna lie and say the effect was massive. It was just like a small effect where at times when I would realize, at times where I would get angry before, I wouldn't get angry anymore. And that's like it's a very small progression, but you have to put into perspective. I was angry like I said, all of the time when I wasn't high. And I also had this like lessened urge to smoke weed all the time. So meditation basically brought me out of the mud in more ways than one. It helped me quit smoking weed. I was actually a serial weed smoker. I started the first time I smoked a spliff. I was 12 years old. The second time, well, no, the first time I smoked, I was 12. It was in the summer. I believe I was going into secondary school that year, or it was the first summer of secondary school, whatever the fuck. But I was 12. I remember that, and I discovered League of Legends, the Devil's game, and I kind of like stopped giving a fuck about football, so I started smoking more weed. But anyway, I started smoking weed like regularly on a weekendly basis from when I was like 14 years old. So every weekend, I'd meet up with my two friends that used to smoke weed as well, and we were 14 at the time. Every weekend, we would like scrape up money together. Oh, salvage some £10, because our parents would give us like some money for like food after school, shit like that. So we just save it, salvage up some money. We have £10 each, or like £5 each, and then we'd have like £20 for the weekend. We'd go out to a park and smoke weed. Yeah. I'm fond with these memories are close to my heart because it's what got me to where I am today. But I was, in hindsight, I can openly say I was actually addicted to weed because I was trying to quit I was trying to quit since I was trying to quit since I was 17 when I first started this whole change of mindset. Um, because I was only not angry when I was high, and I was able to identify that's not a healthy thought process. So yeah, meditating, my urges to smoke decreased a lot, and I don't know how to explain. It just made me more mindful. That's the word I'm looking for. It made me more mindful. Because when I meditate, I've got like a weird style of meditation. I've never heard anyone like talk about this way specifically of meditating. There's so many ways of meditating. There's candle meditations. There's like guided meditations. There's no like normal meditations. Like there's so many ways, but this specific way I would meditate, it would like help me see why I felt like I wanted to smoke or play league or do some shit like some any addictive behavior. So yeah, meditating really brought me to it really brought me to where I am today. I feel like I'm in a very good place, but I'm not content. I want to move forward. Hence why I'm on this YouTube channel. But yeah, there's a lot of science that backs meditation as well. And I'm not that type of guy who's like, oh, sauce, bro. Give me the sauce. Oh. Like, I'm not that type of person. But I do believe that empirical evidence has some form of bearing So I urge you to do your own research. Research both sides. Research the side that is against meditation. I don't remember if there is one because I did that research a long time ago, but there's a lot of stuff for meditation that says it's like genuinely it says it's genuinely beneficial. Like it helps with sleep, it helps with addiction, it helps with stress levels, it decreases your cortisol. There's loads of shit like it helps you be more present. There's so much stuff. So I just urge you to do your own research, look at both sides, and come to a conclusion formed from your own opinions and not from the opinions of others. I'm very big on critical thinking. Think for yourself. Don't let other people think for you. Now, I've rambled on a long time about how meditation helped me. Now, the way it can help you is obviously once you do the research, you'll see, or if whatever conclusion you come to, really. But if you do the research and you figure out that, or you come to the conclusion that it's beneficial through the evidence, the very first thing I must say is don't be a pussy. Don't be a pussy. Don't be a bitch. Do it for 30 days straight, 2 times a day. You need to make a genuine commitment to doing this shit. Make a genuine commitment to being better. So do it for 30 days, twice a day. So personally, I meditate as soon as I wake up. Literally, I don't do anything else. Like, I don't touch my phone. I don't touch my book. I don't do any. The moment I wake up, I sit up in my bed. I just like put a pillow on the back of this wall and I just lie back on it. Not like with my head resting because I fall asleep very easily. So I lie forwards with my head and then like my back's on the thing so it's supported, and I just close my eyes and I meditate. For you, if you're a complete beginner, a lot of you might be familiar to this. If you're a complete beginner, anything is better than nothing. So you can start with 2 minutes. 2 minutes is good enough. And then maybe the day after do like 2 minute 30. And set a timer on your phone if you really have to. But I would urge against it because obviously then you'd have to touch your phone, so it's easy to get trapped in a loop of, oh yeah, I've got a notification from blah blah blah, let me check this, and then oh now you're on Instagram scrolling, or now you're on YouTube, like. So if you have to, set a timer. If not, just try and like focus on your breathing. In fact, let me get deeply into how to meditate, or how I personally meditate. So I set up a pillow. So realistically, the first point is get comfortable. So not first. The first thing I do once I close my eyes is I focus on my breathing. Now, I breathe in for 3 seconds, all through the nose, all nasal breathing, and out for 3 seconds. And the reason I do 3 seconds specifically is because like it promotes deep breaths. And there's like, I read something somewhere. I can't say for certain if there's science behind it, but I read somewhere that if you breathe evenly, the rhythm being even relaxes your brain and your body, which kind of makes sense, you know. So I was like, cool, fuck it. So I breathe in for 3 seconds, out for 3 seconds, and I count every single time. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, etc., etc., etc. And I count all the way up until like 300, which is 5 minutes of just focusing on breathing. The reason I do that is just for focusing. But for you, it's like your first time. You can go up to like, what, 60, a minute of just focusing on your breathing, and you can just progress as time goes on, the more you meditate. So after this period of watching your breath, what I'll do is I'll focus on so when I feel really distracted and unable to focus, sometimes I mess up the count, the 3 count. And the way I know, like, if I fucked up the count at some point, because sometimes my mind wanders. That's why I do it, so I can focus. Sometimes my mind wanders, and I'll fuck up the count. Like, for example, if I count to 271 as my third count, then I'll know I fucked up somewhere, because 271 isn't a multiple of 3. You know what I mean? So I know I fucked up, so I'll just go back to focusing. So when I can't focus, I'll like mentally draw a circle. So like I'll draw a circle in my head, and I'll be like, okay, any thought that enters this, I'll just observe it and let it pass through. Observe it and let it pass through. And now this is what a lot of people say, is like, the point of meditating is like to have an empty mind. But the way I used meditating to cure my anger problems and my addiction problems was, back when I was addicted, I would meditate and I'd be like, it's like the thought would pop into my head, oh, wouldn't mind a cigarette right now. And then, for example, if that came up, oh, wouldn't mind a cigarette, wouldn't mind a zoo. Oh, let's play some League. Shit like that. The moment that came into my head, I would like focus on it, but not like hyper fixate onto it. I just like think, why? And more often than not, your subconscious brain will actually answer that question for you. So I just think, oh, why? Why? Oh, it's just convenient. Oh, sugar rush is nice. The head rush is nice from smoking a cigarette. Oh, playing League's fun, and you listen to your brain, and you can kind of hear it trying to rationalize why you should do the things that are what you know is bad or bad for you. You you could say objectively bad. The reason I say bad is because we don't. You know what? That's a different conversation. That's gonna get long. But yeah, allow your thoughts to just be generated. When I can't focus is when I use the circle. Other than that, I just like let thoughts drift into my head, drift in out, and if I want to focus on a specific thought, then I'll like fixate on it, but not like super to the point where it's like, oh, the meditation is I don't know how to fully explain it. Like the meditation's off piste. So yeah, the thoughts can be different depending on what time you meditate. So for example, if you meditate in the morning, you're more likely to have thoughts of your dreams. For example, if you had a good night's sleep, you entered the rapid eye movement cycle of your sleep, you're more likely to have thoughts about your dreams or what your plans are for the day, that sort of stuff. And if you were to meditate at night, you're more likely to think of the things that happen throughout the day and reflect on them, which both of them are like kind of good. Your dreams have been linked to like creativity and shit, and also remembering your dreams is a integral part of lucid dreaming, which is another video. So yeah, focus on observing your thoughts and not indulging in them too much. Because if you indulge in them, like I said, you tend to lose focus. Everyone has a different purpose for meditating. Mine initially was getting rid of the anger, but now I just continue doing it because it keeps me calm. I'm able to handle stressful situations better, and I have a lot of those in my life currently. It just keeps me more aware, appreciative of what's going on around me, and it helps me focus a lot. It's improved my focus a lot. I used to be like that fidgety, twitchy kid, and now I literally barely fidget. Only when I've had like caffeine, which I rarely have anyway. So yeah, man. If you, I don't really have anything more to say about meditation. Really, the truth is, you can watch these videos online about self-improvement and shit like that, which this is obviously a video of such nature. You can watch all these videos and get all the knowledge, but please just try and take actionable steps, because that's really what helped me at the beginning. I was taking actionable steps on all this shit from like when I was like 17, but like I was inconsistent because I was still trying to battle quitting weed. I do smoke from time to time, but it's like very, very rare. Like very rare. Like the last time I smoked was December, because I was in Africa in December with one of my uncles. We were in the wilderness for 10 days with no running water, no fucking no hot water, no running water, no lights, no electricity, shit like that. So yeah, we were just like chilling on Christmas, and he rolled up, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I haven't been to Africa in a long time. I haven't smoked with my uncle before, so why not? But yeah, before that, I can't remember. So it's like a once in a blue moon thing, which meditation should not be. But yeah, I think that's it for the video. First vid on the channel. Hopefully, I didn't fuck up too much. I'm not very good with cameras. I'm shit with photos and shit like that. So yeah, man, I just hope this video was good. I hope it adds some value. Have a good day, and like I said, always think for yourself, man.